All right, let's go ahead and get down to our mat. Let's talk about some abs class today. Today's pretty quick and simple. We do have 2 6-minute AMRAPs. All right, so it's going to be a little bit kind of at your own pace workout. So let's get you primed. Let's talk about a couple of positions. We're going to be in our high plank position here to start with, just working to create tension through that core. So we've been here before. We know how to hold this, but do we know how to activate ourselves in this position? So we want to make sure that we are pressing actively into the ground. All right, you should feel your triceps working. That's the back of the upper arm, just above the elbow. We're going to extend those arms. All right, we're pulling that belly button in towards our spine. Your hips should kind of tuck under. All right, that's going to kind of drive your glutes to contract as well, so we're holding tension there. We're going to kind of push our heels away from us, so we feel those hamstrings, those calves kind of stretch out, and you're going to kind of pull your knees up off the ground, so you feel those quads, the front of our legs contract as well. So there's a lot of tension going through the body in this high plank position. So we want to get there, make the most of the time that we're hanging out here. Go ahead and drop those knees, shake it out a second. If you are spending minutes upon minutes at a time holding a plank position, we got to think about how much is that really benefiting us, right? Why do something in 15 minutes when you can do in 1 minute? All right, so think about the effort, the intensity that you're putting into specific movements, and we'll try to work with that as we learn to be more efficient through our movement. So let's get back up into that position. Right, high plank position, pushing those arms down to the ground, pulling our abs tight, hips tucked under, glutes tight, heels away, contracting those legs in all places. All right, we're going to take one hand up off the ground. We're going to rotate that into a good strong T-plank. Okay, same thing as you're going to apply. We're actively pressing down into the ground on that down arm. We're still pulling that belly button in, hips are tucked under. All right, glutes are still tight, still pushing those heels away. All right, top arm can extend up towards the ceiling, actively creating length. All right, so it should be, again, more difficult to hold this position. Should feel those obliques down here at the side. If we don't, we can kind of close that door a little bit, just kind of rotate our chest down, and you should feel that activating. Go ahead and rest there. We're going to go one more time on that, just on the other side, just to make sure that we're nice and balanced. High plank position. Arms down, belly button in, tuck those hips, heels away. Pick that other arm up off the ground, right? Making sure all those points are still in activation, pushing those arms away from each other, legs extended, abs pulled in, nice and tight. Hold them strong, and go ahead and come back down and relax. Okay, so first 2 movements you really have to focus on. We have good old-fashioned sit-ups, okay, in which we are all the way down, all the way up. All right, we can keep our knees bent, legs straight out, butterfly stance, whatever you want to do with that. It's just all the way down here, all the way up. Okay, that's our sit-up. Second movement is a lateral hip drop. All right, so you can do on the elbow or on the hand, whichever one you're looking for. All right, we are just dropping those hips down and pulling back up. All right, hips drop down, pulling back up. So we'll do that on the right side and on the left side. Okay, so this first AMRAP, you have those 3 movements: sit-ups, left hip drops, right hip drops, 3 movements. You're going to start with 5 reps of each, and then every time you get back to it, just add another 5 reps. So do 5 sit-ups, 5 hip drops on the other side, 10 sit-ups, 10 hip drops, 10 hip drops on the other side, 15, 15, 15, 20, 20, 20, etc., etc., etc. Sound good? Sound like a plan? All right. That's all the explanation we really need. So go ahead and hop into it at your own pace. Let's do it. All the way up, all the way down for 5 of our sit-ups. Again, we're going to be working for 5 minutes here. We're getting as many rounds as we can work in that 5 minutes. So you do have the luxury to kind of go at your own pace. All right, just making sure that we're getting, like I said at the beginning, the most out of these workouts. out of these motions. All right, so try not to sell yourself short. Try not to just focus on the speed of these reps, but rather focus on the intensity of each one. Right? If you can gas yourself out with just 5 reps, that will arguably be better for you than taking 30 to 40 reps to do it. We're just going to try to get you that spectrum to work through. So I finished my round of 5. Now I'm going to get to my round of 10. Nice big doubling of that rep count. Always fun. So we'll use that energy while we have it early in the round. And just trying to keep a good steady pace as we go through these reps. Making sure that we're doing our best to get every rep to look identical to the last. My camera decides to pop out for a second. It's been doing that a lot lately. Alright, so where were we? Doing some lateral hip drops. Boom. We've got 2 minutes down already. 3 minutes to go. So make sure when we're doing these lateral hip drops, it is just that hip that is dropping. Try not to bend at that elbow or kind of sink that shoulder in. All right, try to stay strong on those 2 points as well. Just the lateral hip movement for those hip drops. And you can keep that other arm up if you like to, or you can keep it tucked in. Either way is fine. Whatever you get the most out of that workout. Finishing that round of 10 and go into your 15. We're just going to steadily increase that demand, asking of ourselves each round. And just trying to get every rep, every round to look identical in terms of that range of motion, in terms of that pace, rep after rep. Maybe the facial expression will change a little bit. Has to be understood. Working strong. Especially on these sit-ups, don't forget that that lowering phase is half of that movement. So keep that in good control when we lower down. We got about 1 minute left. I'm going to try to get through these around the 15. If you're on to those 20s, good job. Keep going. I'm trying to be really intentional about dropping these hips down. Making sure we're staying in those obliques. Maybe need to break those sets up a little bit. Totally fine. Which I should have said earlier, if that rep count gets a little bit too steep for you, taking smaller increments, all right, maybe going from 10 to 12 to 15, or 15 to 17 to 20, whatever you feel is most appropriate. We got about 30 seconds left. Work through these 3 movements. We'll take a quick break, switch gears, and we'll hit 1 more set. So you finish here. Oh. Coming down to the wire. 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, take a quick break, shake it out. We're going to switch over and show you our next 3 movements, hopefully with the camera on. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not sure why this is happening. All right, so 3 movements. We have what we call a Sphinx crunch, all right, which is going to be a low plank on our forearms. Our palms are going to be facing down. All right, we're going to get out into that plank, and we're going to draw that knee across that body, all right, and coming back, knee across that body, and coming back. If it's a little bit too tight space for you, you can certainly go into a high plank, just drawing that knee up and across. Right elbow or right knee to left elbow across that body. All right. So that's my first movement. Second movement is a lateral plank with a reach. So a little bit more on that side plank. Again, elbow or hand. We'll get up here, and this is that thread underneath and pulling out. If you're here for full body blast, a little bit more of that transverse plane work. Okay? We have those 3 movements. Again, 5 minutes to roll through. You ready for it? Let's get down, get ready, and get after it. All right? So that's the same thing. We're going to do 5. If you want to do 6 on this one, just to even out those 2 legs, you can. 3 each side seems reasonable. Just looking to get kind of that cross body contraction, a little bit more of that oblique work, which is going to be a big factor today. Once you get those 5 or 6, whatever it may be, we'll take that reach all the way back up to the top. So we do forget about those shoulders are part of that pillar in our Exos methodology. So we want to make sure that we have good, strong, stable shoulders even when we do that core work. All right, so that's going to be part of kind of that central system of our body, that central pillar. All right, switching over to the other side. I've got my 5 reaches. This second couple is just going to follow the same kind of movement as the first. We have 5 reps. That first round, we'll add 5 to 10, 15 that third round, 20, etc. All the way until time is up. All right. Ooh. We're going to get back to those Sphinx. Round of 10. We're going to take this nice and evenly. We get 5 each side here. We're going to do our best to kind of keep those hips low as well. Try not to get up here when we pike. We're going to try to get low and keep those hips low as we drive those knees across. I think that was 8. All right. Taking the time that you need to in between these, definitely get upright and let blood flow into that head there. So make sure that I can see straight as we go into our next set. Again, if you want to do this on that elbow, it's the same thing there. I recommend maybe giving both sides a try. See which one not only that you like more, but wherever you feel the most through those obliques, working through that whole kind of midsection there. Remember we talked about efficiency in our workouts, so try not to waste that effort or waste that time, even more importantly. About halfway through that time, switching over to the other side, finish my rounds of 10. A quick thing to note here as well, if we're in that lateral position, all right, we can certainly have those feet stacked, all right, one on top of the other, just a little smaller base of support, or we can do staggered, one foot in front of the other. If we do this staggered position, I do highly recommend whatever foot is on top, put that foot in front, all right, so that kind of closes those hips a little bit more, so we can kind of get more of that oblique, as opposed to that top foot being behind or a little bit more open. It's a little bit more stress through that shoulder, very minimal, but I do recommend that top foot in front just to get a little bit more of that oblique engagement in there, okay? All right, let me actually finish these reps here. We come down to about 60 seconds left. That was a big explanation. I'm going to finish strong here as we come to a close. Working all the way through this time. Getting as many reps as we can, moving through that 15, maybe around that 20, which I certainly highly commend. All right, we have about 30 seconds. Pushing strong, finish it up. Going to that round of 15. Again, if you want to throw in an extra rep to even that out at 16. We've got our final 10 seconds. We've got 5, last 3, 2, 1, and time. All right. That's going to do it. My core is sufficiently blasted.